Document C-3421, entered into Monarch's archives as of December 8, 1980. Sergeant Samuel Carl Simmons, September 25, 1944. Peleliu Island, currently the Republic of Palau. Dear Douglas, it's been a week since we've landed on Peleliu. The resistance on the beach was horrific for most of us. I thank the 5th Marines for how they were able to buy us enough time to get some airstrikes in, but not without an enormous toll. That private I was starting to like sadly lost his leg in an attack halfway to the forests. It seems as if he'll survive, but I won't be seeing him fire an M1 anytime soon. Shame to see the poor son of a bitch get blown back by a mortar shell only a few feet in front of me. At least he may get some decent food after his 2 years of service. Though, I'm sorry to report, Rogers was not so lucky. We were passing down a deep and thick river last afternoon. The muck was slowing us down, we were lost, and only by bumping into another stranded soldier did we find our way back to the rendezvous point. But before that we came up to a pair of Marine jeans. We knew that the infantry could waste no time considering that we had no fucking idea where to go in order to regroup, but we still agreed to at least check them out. Perhaps we could bring this back to the base and see if we could perform a search on him later. Rogers then approached the pants, and the loud snap of a bullet pierced our ears. I did not fall in the river unlike the others, so I saw one of my dearest friends being shot from above. A Jap was hiding in the top of a tree nearby, and had used his sidearm to shoot him just below the chest at an angle. Then the others came out. We were luckily able to put them all down before they got the rest of us, though Nathan did get a bonsai knife in his shin. I only had time to close Roger's eyes and lay out a cross in the mud above his body. I lost my closest friend just yesterday to this war, but strangely, I find myself not wanting those Japs to suffer the same. I keep hearing stories and rumors about those who are captured by our forces swearing that they were forced into service. They keep on begging their Japanese officers for mercy whenever they do the tiniest of things wrong, and they even try to escape themselves. I hope to God this is all real, because if it isn't, and all these sad morons do willingly serve a nation that seeks so much destruction to everything around it, I have lost all hope in this pitiful realm of existence. Though there is this other story I hear from prisoners, both willing and unwilling to compromise with their captors. They speak of this quote from Admiral Yamamoto, who said something after what they did to Pearl Harbor. This commander, who apparently was killed a little over a year ago, spoke of awakening the sleeping giant. Most view this as a metaphor for the oncoming tide of death and destruction that would ensue, yet some of these prisoners described this giant as an actual beast. They speak of a mythical monster of some sort. It is described as being a huge dragon that erupts fire from its bellowing and sharp mouth. It spends its time swimming through the ocean, feeding on just about anything it can find. It only comes up for short, yet horrific acts of destruction and Armageddon against humans and their homes. It comes from the land of tortured souls of those long gone, and tries to get other living, warm people to come with them to the realm of spirits and out of this carnage by killing them. Some warn our interrogators that this monster will soon be coming for all of us once the seeds of war and misery are fully grown. Others threaten them by saying this monster will drag them into the pits of eternal fire and torture for their crimes against the glory of the Japanese people and their beloved emperor. I recall a story that one captured soldier said during the first several months of our campaign that he could see this beast at night. The light of the full moon silhouetted their battleships sailing in rows to their destinations. He believed this image to be a row of scales that protrude out of the dragon's back. When these things glow, the behemoth spits out greenish fire and can melt even solid steel into liquid. I honestly think something like this being real is just a bunch of shit, but I wouldn't blame them for believing in something like this. Their world, and ours for that matter, is surrounded in blood, bombs, and bullets. They are probably seeing a man die for every meal they eat. Being forced to march in droves for a bunch of old fucks that would sooner send them to drown in a coral reef rather than allow them to speak their minds is probably not going to leave the best impact on their sanity. So, imagining a monster that will just come out of the blue and kill them just to reunite them with their friends and family in a spiritual world sounds better than the former. Hell, maybe the peace of eternal torment would be better than what's going on the surface. Personally, if it did exist, I wouldn't mind catching a glimpse of this all-powerful green fire-filled dragon myself. Thanks for reading, and my condolences to you too on Rogers' death. Just hang in there. We have lost a lot, but this whole thing can't go on forever. Semper Fi, and stay strong. Sam. Document B-867, entered into Monarch's archives as of October 13, 1986. Dr. Neil Franklin, April 15, 1945, Phoenix, Arizona. Dear General Morgan Hammond, I am writing to you from Phoenix, Arizona, so forgive me if this takes a while to get to you. Let me just say, my condolences on the death of President Roosevelt. He was more than a president for us. He was practically a second father. To learn that this man, who helped us through both the worst financial crisis in our nation's history and the most devastating war the world has ever known, is gone in just one afternoon, is simply nothing less than one of the biggest losses our nation will ever go through. Now, with that in mind, I am aware of President Truman's plans on the project, discussing what we are thinking about doing with this bomb. Don't get me wrong, I could not be more happy that we could end this bloodshed soon. The toll it has taken on Europe is devastating enough. Our forces and the Soviets will collapse onto Berlin. It's only a matter of time as of now. But in terms of what we have our eyes set on in Japan, I have a few things to say. First of all, after all my work with the government and Army Corps, I do agree that the bomb works, and the splitting chain reaction of the atom can certainly produce an explosion of immense magnitude. This would certainly send the biggest message we could possibly deliver to the Empire, but I still must advise against this. My research of the aftermath has been confirmed by nearly everybody I have talked to on the team, and if we are right, the radioactive effects of this weapon could be disastrous. The time it takes for the contamination to break down could last decades, and it seems nearly impossible to contain should anything survive in this explosion, whether it is in the radius or near it. Mutations caused by the uranium could be extremely abnormal and cause vast changes in the surrounding ecosystems, which could spell disaster for the natural balance across the nation. And don't think that a few miles of salt water will separate this environmental rape. At this point, with all the risks, power, and chances you are taking with this bomb, I can safely say that all it takes is just for one animal, one crawling, miserable, pathetic lizard to get off that island for the entire natural world to collapse. Please, if you can, just urge everybody of your highest orders to take other action. Place enormous sanctions, perform airstrike after airstrike. Just please, do anything. Just do not proceed with this action if that is the plan. Dr. Neil Franklin. Document F-949, entered into Monarch's archives as of October 13, 1986. Commander James Houdini, August 6, 1948. San Francisco, USA. Alright, Tony. You want to know why I'm so pissed off? Write this down. 3 years. It's been 3 long years since we dropped that thing on Hiroshima. 8:15 a.m. I don't know how many lives we took away that day. Too many is all I know. What I want to see now is what's being done to rebuild the place. All the grieving, suffering, confusion, hysteria, it'll be a miracle if Japan, or any nation in this huge struggle, ever survives. Now, you think that after 40 million deaths, by the way, it's still being counted, an entire campaign of mass extermination, the rise of some of the most evil people in the world, and entire generations lost, would at least earn you a breather or two. But no. Now we gotta worry about the communists across the ocean. Unreal. We're spending millions to make sure we've got more nuclear missiles than they have. We're complaining that they're the only other big guys that would challenge us, all the while the two of us just stop some of the most evil regimes in history, and both of our economies are booming. You know what? I personally think we'll make war out of anything. And you know what else I think? I mean, I'm probably drunk right now, but you know what I think? We've created monsters out of ourselves. It's not going to be like a giant lizard fighting a mutant rat, no. This time it's going to be Uncle Sam battling the Red Lion, and the whole world's going to be the audience. And what will come of this? Disaster. Unless we think of something that can put at least a cap on this inevitable war that is going to come out, it's going to be the end for all of us. You and me. Heard in Korea things are already going down the shitter, so we gotta do something. I don't know what, but we gotta do it fast. 'Cause I was never a huge fan of monsters. Document F-700, entered into Monarch's archives as of June 30th, 1954. Captain Gordon Levitt, May 15th, 1954. Bikini Atoll, Marshall Islands. General Dean, before I descend on this journey, I just want to say that I am very disappointed with your recent action. I had not received words of the sworn secrecy from the officials until 2 days ago. I am descending into the USS Nautilus in 1500 hours, so if I am going to journey into the darkest depths of the ocean when this submarine is not yet in commission, then I need to ensure our project will be safe from the public eye. The government may be secure enough when conducting anti-Soviet missions, but I cannot say the same when your submarine is on the coast of an entire atoll. Forgive me for my tone, but you cannot deny that it is better to avoid the consequences if the public or the media catch us. Anyway, the ship will depart at 1500 hours, submerged at 1530, and we plan to reach our destination around 1700 or 1800 hours. If we keep our skins intact, this will be the first time a nuclear submarine will dive to a depth of over 6,000 meters. It has been estimated that the factor of pressure will only allow us to remain at this depth for around an hour, so we shall start to resurface as of 1900 hours, and we have estimated to completely resurface as of 2030 hours. The Nautilus will then be taken out of Bikini Atoll by our marine superiors the next morning, and we must be out of the islands by May 20th. That is just the short summary of our journey, and I'll be honest, I shall be very happy if we come out of this ocean still breathing. Now, please, just do anything. I don't care what it is as long as you don't hurt anything. Just keep everybody quiet about this. I have to go now. Goodbye, get to work, and pray we don't get killed by a sea monster or something. Captain Gordon Levitt, May 15th, 1954.